Okay, so it's been a minute since I did a video on a Porsche project, and so I've had a lot of projects I've had to get done before I can actually touch my own. But I've been working on rear fenders, so I reversed the car, so now I got more space, and I was working on the diffusers too, so that way you can get a chance to look at it, back away, make changes. So with this rear quarter panel and the rear fenders, I thought about merging a piece to the rear fenders, which connects to the quarter panel of the car, up and around the quarter glass, and to the front. I never liked this lip right here on the older cars, and I do know that these two pieces of metal sandwich together to keep it a nice sound structure, so don't want to just cut that off. So I literally created a part to kind of sandwich it, kind of give it a little bit more of a design or a body line opposed to just having a gutter running down the side of the car. But I do want to talk about what kind of led to this. I did want to have a fender flare that was going to be bolt-on ready. You cut your car obviously probably to accommodate the wheel, but it was going to have some more of an aggressive tone or aggressive effect to it, adding to some body lines. Also have the hole here just going to work around for air brake, or excuse me, brake cooling, not an air brake, but brake cooling down there. So it's a functional rear fender flare. I also added some body lines to it as well. It actually goes up and over this way opposed to straight out. This was kind of a recommendation from a friend of mine that just left, but I do think I'll probably end up leaving it the same. Now, because I thought about doing it this way, I ended up sanding down the fiberglass, and as I sand down the fiberglass strips in order to create the rest of the body here, it created a pattern that literally went along this line. And so I kind of liked it, and because I liked it, I literally added a body line to it. Now, how I went go about doing that. There are some still pictures that I will probably include with this video when I post it, but basically I masked it off with tape, came back, painted the tape, so then I had lines on either side, and then I used my tar paper, which you see under here, cut a hole so that way you can see. So I used my tar paper on top of a piece of wood that I actually ran along the backside, so that way I had consistent height. So even though you use the tar paper, this tar paper might flatten out, it could move, and then now you have a problem. Now you have a height issue. So I'll put a piece of wood under here, so that way as it makes contact, I didn't have to worry about it not being consistent. So you fiberglass on top of that, and then Bondo, make sure it's all nice and even, and that's how we have a line. And that's how that worked out. Okay, so since then, I also taped up the top part. If you notice, it wasn't taped on this side. So the other issue was I wanted to figure out if I should cut the body line this way. And the reason why I did that is so that way you can have either the color of the car, or if you want to wrap the car, you can have some color that's going to be added to the rear quarter, the door, and then also the front. So I masked off the front too, so I can figure out how you can pour color over the car. And that's what I came up with. So everywhere you see tape is where you would see the color of the car. So you got color here on the fender, the door. I wasn't gonna waste a whole bunch of tape on my door, but then it's also tied back to the rear quarter and then also the roof. So you see all in one picture where you'd have the color of the car here flowing in all the panels to tie everything in. So that's how that worked out. Since then, I have put a new hood on the car. So that is a metal hood. I cut the same hole into it so that way I can have my oil cooler in the front down here. Got everything all measured up so air travels in from the front of the hood through here and then up and over the hood, so that way there's increased downforce, and then it's functional too for the oil cooler, and then aesthetically I think it'll look good. I don't think there's any other, matter of fact, some of the new Porsches are starting to have more cutouts in the hood. This is, I think, more aggressive, and it's functional. So I got some aesthetic value, and it's also functional. I also put some releases down here for the front clip. So there are push buttons here on either side, but you would only have access when you pop the hood. And then there's going to be other ones that are going to be along this area here for a quicker release too. so nobody's running away with my front clip, because you still got to pop the hood in order to get access to that. But it makes it a little bit easier taking it on and off in case you have to go on a flatbed or something like that. You've seen other video and also pictures of the interior. So I did my interior for the door panels. They are on. I don't think this door opens. Oh, this door does not open. So door panel has been done. Wow, got a fixture I got to do right here. That's not cool at all. I don't know how I bumped it, but now I gotta fix that. Anyway, door panel is in. There are some things that I gotta do to it to make sure it is all nice and cool, but the speakers are in. Kind of like how the tweeters came out and everything fits. Got a cup holder. So at this point, I am waiting for my tuner to come by, get my car started. It's gonna function at idle. Since I've been working on the car, I had to do quite a bit. So since we talked to the tuner, I ended up having to put new spark plugs in it. My injectors went out, so I got brand new injectors in there. And let's see what else did I had to stop an oil leak. So right now I'm waiting for the tuner to come, get it started. And then once it gets started, my motivation resets and I start doing a whole bunch of other stuff. But everything looks good. Everything is coming along as planned. I am going to be putting a bigger tire on the rear to kind of fill up that fender well. And I think it's going to be really nice. This is a 295, 35, 18. I've got some 335s, which are sitting back there. So my 335s are going to go on here. And that's going to make the car's profile even better. It's going to be a tighter fit under the fender well. The front is already cool. I am not the lowest right now, but you got to understand too, is that I don't have any gas up front, and those are brand new struts up front. So the car hasn't even settled yet. So it will drop lower than that. I still got like a little bit more of an inch and a half movement rate up there. So my clearances will be good. So once everything starts to be driven, that front end's gonna drop and I'll be cool. And the rear back here should be nice. Some of the other things we got done too. These are all my interior pieces for the dash. So this is all Hawaiian Koa and also rosewood. I went with that to match the gold theme of the car. This is 100% rosewood. These are the panels that go in the back. Over there. Goes back over there. So this goes on the side where the radio is. And we've got the gauge cluster. It's already done. Today I worked on the panel that goes underneath the foot pedals, as we know that is wood, so I laminated that with rosewood. Matter of fact, I'll show you that since we're doing a video. So this is that panel. So this goes behind the foot pedals. So this has just been sanded down with 220. I haven't even like prepped this or whatever. I haven't even put the sealer or nothing, but that goes underneath, and so that's all been redone. They're originally made out of wood, but mine was really jacked up. So the plan was either to do it with wood or carbon, but I thought that would look better with rosewood because it'll match the rest of the dash pieces, and then I don't think anybody else has ever done it, so I like doing stuff that other people don't do. That's the other side. My key hole came out really nice too. That's actually covered with veneer. There's a burl around that, so looks really distinctive, especially since the Koa is a different species of wood that goes around that. So all my holes have been cut and all my pieces are done. I just have to seal them with the finish, so that way they have some longevity. I did it recently with zebra wood, and that lasted a long time. So I've had my experience with working with the veneered pieces in a car, holding up to heat and usage and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about those. But those are all done. What else we got? The music is done. I mean, the speakers and everything are in place. All my wiring and everything is in place. I fired it up before, so I know it works. Just disconnected now. Matter of fact, I think I have video of it playing, but everything is just disconnected now, so that way I can install all the other parts. and then of course get it running first, and then gradually install everything else after that. But that is the greatest update. And like I said, I know it's been a long time since I did a video, but now it's just enough things to kind of really tie in together. I originally was making my hood out of wood, and I decided, you know what, since I'm going to commit to it and I don't have to worry about putting in all the details, especially for the front right here, just go ahead and make it out of metal. And also engineering the underbelly of the hood too, the structure of it. So I just bought a new one and cut my hole, and then now I'm done. However, I do have to do the carbon on that, just like I did my other hood, which is there. So obviously this still works and can be functional, but I have to work it to where I engineer the oil cooler in there to still function even if I wanted to replace the hood and not have this hood. So that's another thing I have to do too, since there will be a pass-through. But between the hood, engineering the front clip, spending a tremendous amount of time on my interior. So I got my door panels done with a cup holder at that. So I'm kind of excited about that. My shift gauge has been wired up into my steering wheel. I've got 2 horn buttons right there too on either side, so that way I can blow the horn at you. Got a center console in here. On my center console has my buttons for my fog lights and USB and all that other fun stuff, kind of make it updated. And then again, like I said, I got my tunes. I don't think I ever showed off my rear view mirror, but it certainly has that. Let's see here. And then the outside with the engine. So everything's coming along. Don't want to give any born dates on it because, you know, those things can change. But I don't foresee too many things that I would have to go up against in order to get everything going. I am going to be replacing the tires for 2 reasons. One, I wanted a taller tire on the back so that way I can fill in the fender well, and then at the same time I got to put my tire pressure management system in there, so that way I can read that, and that's what the gauge cluster was for on the dash. So I'm set up with that too. I'm gonna go ahead and put